All right, we got an hour plus here. John Middlecoff, former NFL scout with the Eagles. His podcast is Three and Out. So let's just start with the late games. We got college football to talk about a lot at the end as well. So Miami beats the 49ers 29-17. I thought this was a perfect example of a game that San Francisco was a little bit healthier. Miami's a finesse team. 49ers have a lot to play for. And for the second game in a row, Brock Purdy with a really ugly pick. I'm telling you. Now, this team makes more big mistakes, like Ricky Pearsall lining up wrong, negates a big Debo play that would have given them the lead, so it's not all on Brock Purdy. And it was a good day for Kittle and Debo, so he's getting the ball to the right people. But that last interception by Brock Purdy, how can you watch that and think, yeah, I'm going to give this guy 50 large? I mean, I'm watching Sam Darnold here. Literally looks like a poor man's Josh Allen. Playmaking, athletic, tough, taking a beating. Doesn't have a great run game. And Justin Jefferson looks like Randy Moss. We'll get to that. A lot of this on San Francisco is as the roster has been diminished and aged, they don't have anything special at quarterback. That's the world I see right now.
Yeah, speechless on that last throw, Colin. I don't know. We talked about this last week when he threw the pick to end the game against the Rams. Kyle Shanahan defended it last week during, leading up to this game. I'm sorry, I'm not throwing go routes to Jawan Jennings with the game on the line. That's not his style. And there was nobody in the vicinity of that throw in the Miami game. So to throw that ball as he's getting destroyed, we talked about this last week. He's got to hang his head on being an elite
That's right.
decision maker, right? He does not have the physical tools of the high end guys. And this year, in big spots, he has made poor
Yeah.
decisions. Like you said, I mean, throughout the game, he's a solid game manager. They did a good job today of throwing the ball to Debo, getting the ball to Debo. Debo looked like the guy they gave 60 million to a couple years ago, Kittle. But some plays that aren't schemed up, they need him to rise above it, and he just can't. And this is why you can't make a decision before you get all the information. And listen, I mean, Kyle's the boss, and if he's dead set on paying Brock Purdy, if I'm Jed York and the guy's cutting the check, like we got to have a serious conversation about this before we just watched Tua, who they're in that situation. Do they want to be paying him 160, 170 million dollars? Of course not. He's not good enough either. And I just think the amount of money we're talking, right? It's not a $50 million contract or $70 million contract. You're guaranteeing at minimum what they're talking about 180, $190 million because his representation has an argument. Well, look at Trevor Lawrence. He got $200 million guaranteed. It's like, okay, that's true, but I can't do that. Why just because someone else makes a poor decision am I going to make a poor decision? We've seen everyone argue that with Deshaun Watson. Just because Jimmy Haslam gave him $230 million fully guaranteed doesn't mean we're going to do it. So I get the market's the market, but I don't want that market for that guy. And this notion of like, well, you don't have anyone else. Well, he's got another year under his contract. So this year's a disaster for the 49ers. It's one thing to miss the playoffs, to lose this game in Miami. I mean, they lost more guys today, but Kyle Shanahan, I mean, they're now destined to be under 500. The Rams headed to the
And by
playoffs
the way,
surely
and the
again. I
Rams
mean,
with a very young defense, they're not paying anybody. And now that Puka's free for another 2 years, Kyron Williams, look how many Rams are productive and they're not paying anything to. Think about that. I mean, Puka, Kyron Williams, Young, the two defensive verse. I mean, they're
stud.
Curl, the safety, is one of the guys that makes money. There's 9 Rams. Now they pay Cup and Stafford. There's 9 Rams, don't make any money and they're productive. Anybody that's slightly productive for the Niners, I mean, they're opening up the wallet to. Like going forward, I look at the Rams' future, and they're going to win the division this year, and I'm like, boy, I would love to have that roster. I think San Francisco, I said this 6 weeks ago, I think they're worse off than they think. I think they have a real issue.
Well, part of the reason I think they felt obligated to Brandon Ayuk was because of his connection with the
Yeah.
quarterback, and he made him and Brock had such a good rapport. And then his leg got snapped. So that's a big picture problem. It wasn't just a broken leg. I mean, you're talking about an ACL, an MCL. Like it was a devastating knee injury. And now you have the question with the quarterback. The other thing is the 49ers have been a great place to play quarterback because they had all these yard after the catch wide receivers, and their defense was awesome. Well, now it turns out Dre Greenlaw's Ray Lewis Jr., and when he's not on the field, they get
Yeah.
shredded. I mean, they get destroyed in the run game. So they need a quarterback. Well, okay, we need a top 6, 7 quarterback to help carry us. And listen, I like the guy. I've defended him, but this is a business. And once we start talking these crazy numbers, and I don't care about the average per year and all that bullshit. The amount of guaranteed money at minimum, once you start talking the Tuas and the Trevor Lawrences, I have to press pause. And these last couple weeks were pretty glaring, Colin. Pretty
Because
glaring.
Kittle and Deep
They're trying to win these games. We're not tanking here. Like they are desperately trying to
and
win. These
Debo
last
was
two
productive,
games.
and Kittle was productive, and Jennings is on the field. Like, don't give me this. We're all beat up. It's like you got three of your best weapons, and I'm not talking cluster injuries. This isn't like the Rams early on when Puka, Cooper Kupp, and three of the offensive linemen were out. That's not what we have here. We're missing Christian McCaffrey, and again, when the protection breaks down with Brock Purdy, he is barely outrunning 300-pound guys. Like he is. There, somebody told me once, when it comes to quarterbacks in the NFL, there's got to be wow